Barely 100 days since he assumed power, President Bongbong Marcos has begun courting foreign investors, pitching the Philippines as a data center hub in Asia-Pacific. Executives from at least 50 foreign companies across the region descended on Manila this week to sit with trade officials. One of them is Aisin, an engineering firm based in Sydney, Australia. It's setting up business operations in Clark.
We're so happy that we're now committed to actually setting up an office here. So I'd say probably in the next 1 to 2 months we'll have an office, we'll have staff. We're talking around 300 in 3 years.
Marcos inherits from former President Duterte an ambitious infrastructure program that could run for decades. That draws investors like Aisin, which is now in talks for a waste-energy plant and railway deal valued at $200 million or 11.2 billion pesos. The country's selling point, its highly skilled and English-speaking workforce.
We need people to support us in Australia. It's very difficult to get good engineers in Australia. So that's why we've come to the Philippines to expand our business.
At the height of the pandemic that choked supply chains and amid earlier concerns about the elections, Philippine Ecozones earlier saw some foreign locators exiting and setting up operations elsewhere. But as the dust from political uncertainty settles and borders reopen, business returns. PEZA, or the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, now expects up to 7% growth in investments from locators this year. The Board of Investments, meanwhile, wants to top its 1 trillion peso approvals last year.
The data centers, where we are in talks now with at least 4 investors. These investors will be needing 30 to 100 megawatts in power.
Hyperscalers, mga Google, diba? Google, Microsoft, they have super big data, so they would need really maybe their own data centers.
But I can see that the organisation that you have is attracting people within telecommunications. From South Australia, we have a particular interest in hydrogen and the future of hydrogen.
This week's investment briefing is the first under Marcos' leadership. Trade officials have charted up to 10 roadshows this year. That will take them to as far as Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, the US, and Europe. Lois Calderon, CNN Philippines.